You're watching Friggin' Fabulous Video. Prolific New York City artist Raphael Santiago is known for his organically conceived drawings and paintings and uses a variety of experimental concepts. He fuses wax, color dyes, and micron pens to produce a unique color palette. I sat down with Santiago at his Brooklyn studio.
So we've seen some of your artwork, amazing stuff. Let's get like a little history lesson.
Sure.
How did you start out as an artist?
Well, I guess like most people, you know, tend to draw a lot when you're a kid. You know, I found it to be a good meditative way for me to kind of escape to my own little world. You know, I was born and raised in the South Bronx, and it was an area, I guess in the 70s, that was kind of a rough neighborhood, and drawing was sort of a good way for me to escape. You know, go into my own little imagination, my own little world. You know, never really set out to be an artist. I just like to draw.
Right. So you weren't one of those people that, like in kindergarten, was like, "I'm going to be an artist." You know.
No, not at all. It's funny because there were kids in school that were like that. You know, there was always that one kid. You know, I remember like in the third grade, there's that one kid who knew how to draw. You know, he just knew how to draw. So he was like the little celebrity kid, you know, and everyone would ask him, "Hey, draw me a picture of the Hulk or something," you know. And I remember asking him to draw me a picture of, I think it might have just been the Hulk. And he was like, "Nah, I don't have time for you." And I remember getting really frustrated. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this kid. You know, I'm just going to make my own drawing, you know. So I decided to make my own Hulk drawing, and it came out pretty good.
Great.
You know, and then I realized that I might have some talent after all, you know. So I started, you know, copying comic books and stuff.
Great. I hope you put it in that kid's face. You know, I'm sure it was better than his.
Yeah, it was. and I just started from there. I just realized that if you have enough passion for something, you can become really good at it. And once I saw that I can do that, I was like, well, hey, I can just do this myself. And it just started, I guess, from there.
Great. Now, do you when you do a painting, do you start out as a drawing and then go to the canvas, or because I know you do drawings, paintings, you all kinds of multimedia stuff.
Right.
How do you do that? I mean, do you come up with the concept and then sketch it a million times and then do it? Like, how everyone's different.
It depends. You know, it depends on the piece. Sometimes you know, in theory, you would come up with a little rough sketch, and then you make a little bigger sketch, and then a bigger sketch, and then, you know, then you paint it. You know, what happens with me is by the time I go through the whole process, I'm already burnt out. I don't want to do the painting anymore. You know, because the fun is really in the discovering of the little happy accidents, and a lot of that stuff happens in the early stages, like the sketches, the little rough drawings. The final painting might be fantastic to look at, but it's not. Sometimes, for me, in my case, it's not as much fun.
Let's talk a little bit about the Smoking Aces series.
Yes.
And how did you start with that?
The Smoking Aces series.
What was your first drawing or painting?
The first drawing I did was for that series, or what led to that series was this drawing I did of a clown, which I call Cool Enlightenment. And the clown had, he just kind of manifested himself. He came out of nowhere. I just sat down and started sketching this clown, and what I did was I had his pupils kind of coming out of his eye sockets, you know, just having a very, I guess, an enlightening moment. And I started using color Sharpies, and they were really saturated, and I was really trying to create this really nice, saturated, textured, very technicolor, almost like a 50s, something from the 50s, like a drawing from the 50s, you know, like technicolor, like a technicolor cartoon.
Nice.
It started from there, and I gave him a cigarette. I had this cigarette kind of coming off his lip, floating like in space. And I think that's what ignited this whole series of drawings that I'm doing now, where everyone's just, you know, smoking. Yeah.
Pretty fascinating. Speaking of artwork and logos, you designed the Friggin' Fabulous Radio logo, which is a big hit now on T-shirts and all over the place. And well, I can say it took us a while. I came up with the main concept.
Right.
You made it work, but it took us close to maybe 2.5 years.
Yeah, it took a while, you know, just throwing the idea back and forth. And then you know, in the end, it's always the simple thing. Just that guy just pointing.
Right.
You know, it was perfect.
All right, Raphael, so here's some of your artwork. Let's talk about this stuff. Let's start out with one that people will recognize, I'm sure, the Obama painting.
Yes, the Obama piece. That had fun with that piece. I guess I got caught up in the whole Obama mania since everybody else was kind of getting caught up, and I was kind of curious to see my interpretation of Obama, you know. And of course, you know, he's smoking the cigarette and kind of just having this enlightening moment, looking at the earth, you know. I think it kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And you did this with a Sharpie?
Yeah, most of the work here that you see here is with Sharpies. Well, a lot of mixed media, amazing. But that's with Sharpies. How about the smoking seal?
This is one of my personal favorites. The color pattern is really cool. Tell me, how did you come up with this one?
They sort of manifest themselves. I just sit there and I look. I think of, sometimes I'll just think of an animal and then I just let it come out. I don't really think about it too much. I sort of just let go and relax, and I start just drawing circles and shapes, and it becomes almost like a grid, and little by little a face will start appearing, and then once that appears, I just jump on it and I keep working it, and then I keep working on that and I keep working on that. You know, it was really it was supposed to be a baby seal. It started out as a baby seal, and it became more of this, I guess, more of a older seal. And of course, he's, you know, smoking a cigarette. I just thought it'd be kind of funny to have these animals trying to become human or be human with these little, you know, I guess what you can call a bad habit.
Very nice, yeah, I guess so.
The works of Raphael Santiago will be on display at Bold Hype Gallery in Orlando, Florida through March 6, 2010.